Today we're going to be durability testing the OnePlus 12. OnePlus has introduced a new feature this year called AQUA Touch, meaning that it should work better in the rain. We'll be testing out this AQUA Touch feature against the Galaxy S24 Ultra, as well as the iPhone 15 Pro, finding out which one of these three phones works best in a moist environment. Because if you work a lot from your phone, it's good to know what it can withstand. And speaking of working from your phone, huge thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring this video. The Stamps.com app is like having a post office in your pocket, taking care of orders while you're on the go. With postage rates increasing, it's awesome that Stamps.com has the best rates in the industry, with rates you can't find anywhere else, like up to 89% off USPS and UPS shipping. Plus, Stamps.com automatically tells you the cheapest and fastest shipping options so you don't have to go digging for it. For the past 25 years, Stamps.com has been a one-stop shop for shipping checks, invoices, books, or anything else at all with no waiting and no standing in lines. All you need is a phone, a computer, or a printer. And Stamps.com integrates seamlessly with every online marketplace and shopping cart. To keep your own shipping and mailing moving at the speed of your business, just go to Stamps.com/JerryRig for a 4-week trial, free postage, and free 5-pound digital scale, with no long-term commitments or contracts. Stamps.com/JerryRig, and huge thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring this video. With smartphones coming in at ridiculously high price points this year, like $1,300 for a Galaxy S24 Ultra and $1,000 for an iPhone 15 Pro, it's incredibly refreshing to see a flagship drop for just $800. Inside the lid of the OnePlus 12, we see a kind little thank you note to random OnePlus community members. That's pretty legit. Big fan of that. One feature that I'm especially excited to take a look at, besides the 80-watt fast charging, is the new AQUA Touch glass that OnePlus has installed on the Surface, which supposedly allows the smartphone to work even in wet environments, like a shower or rainstorm, without having conductive droplets interfere with a finger-sensing digitizer. We'll be testing this AQUA Touch feature before the scratch test, just to make sure nothing is jeopardized. This $800 OnePlus 12 will go head-to-head with the 24 Ultra and an iPhone 15 Pro, two flagships that far exceed this flagship killer's price point, and none of the three phones are scratched. Each phone will get 2 spritz of tap water, while I attempt to write out "the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," which is a single sentence that conveniently uses every single letter of the alphabet. The OnePlus 12 appears to be doing pretty darn good. Touches all seem reasonable, with a few normal predictive suggestions that could just as easily be due to fat fingers on a new phone. So AQUA Touch appears to be doing its job. Moving to the S24 Ultra, not a whole lot is different over here. The swipe text seems to still be recognizing the majority of my swipes and getting most of the words correct, even with an incredibly damp water splash screen. However, when we move to the spritzed iPhone 15 Pro, pure chaos erupts. Not only can it not get the second word right, but when I try to backspace, the iPhone thinks I'm pressing the H button a few centimeters away, and it starts screaming into the digital void. The iPhone 15 Pro is unable to complete the water touch test, and just outputs pure gobbledygook all over the screen. I know I'm supposed to be an objective reviewer and all that, but I'm not gonna lie, I do get a little happy inside when Apple just crashes and burns in a side-by-side comparison. So yeah, the AQUA Touch appears to be working great on the OnePlus 12, the S24 Ultra seems to have something similar, and the newest iPhone does a great job of showing us how important these Android innovations really are. Thank you, Apple. You'll get there eventually. The screen structure is of course Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which means as we move up our Mohs scale of hardness, we do indeed see scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. The AQUA Touch technology doesn't appear to compromise any of the scratch resistance, probably because AQUA Touch is more of an algorithm that detects and removes false droplet touches. The anti-reflective coating of the S24 Ultra is still king though, but again, the S24 Ultra costs $500 more. There is a 32-megapixel selfie camera tucked under the AQUA Touch glass, a super thin earpiece slit that contains the upper 3D spatial stereo speaker. One interesting thing though is that OnePlus has included 16 signal antennas inside of the 12, 3 of which are dedicated gaming antennas, positioned so that when the user is fully grasping the phone horizontally, the gaming antennas can still function. The metal buttons are not removable, and the whole phone frame appears to be made from aluminum. There's a pretty cool infrared remote control at the top. It can control TVs and stuff. One cool thing to mention is that while you might not be able to see infrared light with your naked eyes, a smartphone camera can see that infrared through its camera sensor, and you can see that remote diode flash on the screen. You can try it yourself with any infrared remote control and a smartphone camera. The alert sliders over here, I wish every phone had one of these. And of course we have our SIM card tray, 80-watt USB-C port, and the lower 3D spatial stereo speaker. The OnePlus 12 is IP65 water resistant, but that water resistance is only good for water sprays and not submersion, so watch out for that. Like we saw in my teardown video, there is an extremely impressive, industry-leading 50-watt wireless charging coil underneath the back textured glass. With only the OnePlus logo being smooth. And like last year, OnePlus has again included a very large, very thick, circular slab of glass over all 4 camera units. We have the main 50 megapixel camera, along with a 48 megapixel ultra-wide next to it, and a 3x optical 64 megapixel telephoto camera below that. The thick glass is kind of like a nice watch face, and it feels and looks pretty cool. However, with the larger surface area, there is larger potential for shattering, and one single shatter could potentially ruin all cameras at once. But it is a classy, memorable design for sure. There's an in-display optical fingerprint sensor, but like we saw in the teardown, it is a pretty small sensor window. However, even with giving that tiny window a substantial amount of level 7 deeper grooves, the scanner works and unlocks my phone with my finger every single time. Thumbs up for that. Finally, we have had a few OnePlus phones break on us during this bin test. Normally just a crack back here or there, nothing catastrophic, unless we're talking about the 10 Pro, may it rest in pieces. But it appears that with this new OnePlus 12, while it does flex along the frame, and the glass bending near the camera cutout and antenna line is making me super nervous, there still is no creaking, cracking, or cataclysmic damage this time around. The OnePlus 12 remains solid, intact, and functional. Nice work keeping us on our toes, OnePlus. We'll see you again next year. And if you made it this far in the video, in honor of the red OnePlus 12 surviving, I've discounted my own red JerryRig knife to $9.12 for the next 12 hours. The lowest price it's ever been. Thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.